Alright guys, let's get the fanboy out of the way because you know it's coming. My favorite game of all time is getting a direct sequel. My favorite game ever, my favorite soundtrack ever, that's including movies, anything. My favorite music ever, just love it. It's Xenoblade, guys. Xenoblade. We're getting Xenoblade 2, not another spin-off like Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's amazing. Oh my, we're getting a sequel, and it looks very fantasy focused, whereas Xenoblade Chronicles X was very sci-fi focused. They're kind of splitting it after Xenoblade Chronicles into the Mechonis and Mechonis kind of sides with these two games that I feel like we're eventually going to get a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and an X2. I think they're really turning it into Nintendo's own RPG franchise and branching into a more fantasy series and a more sci-fi focused series. That's where I see this going. I hope I'm right, because more Xenoblade is great. Super excited for that. That was obviously my number one thing, but what did I think about everything else? The console itself, the other games that they showed. I'm really excited for a lot of the games that they showed, but I'm a little concerned with the launch lineup. I mean, there's some good stuff coming out at launch, and we are getting some Wii U ports like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but not as many ports over as I thought. I thought we'd be getting a lot more sort of beefed up special edition Wii U games, the more popular games, over onto the system the first couple months to really draw in that Wii U audience. I'm kind of surprised not as much of that, but we are getting some somewhat unexpected for me sequels right away. Splatoon 2 coming out in the summer. Would have been a really cool launch title, but maybe they couldn't pull it off development-wise, not enough time. But Splatoon 2, that's going to draw a lot of people in. I really think that's going to be really great, especially with the multiplayer focus of this console. That's one of the main things that sold me on it. Is seems to be a lot of focus not just on online multiplayer, but there's more of a just sitting on the couch playing with your friends focus that I think has been really missing from a lot of systems. It's really was missing for me with a lot of 360 and PS3 games, seems to be missing a lot with the Xbox One and PS4. The Wii had it to an extent, but too much of it was involved with just party games. It looks like we're getting some more core, fun games that you can sit and play with your friends in the living room. I like that idea. The new Mario game looks fantastic. I really like the idea of it honestly feels like a return to Mario 64's formula and feel with some the evolution of later games like Sunshine and the Galaxy games, whatever, throw it in there to make sort of the new Mario 64, the new top 3D Mario experience. I think that's going to be great. There seems to be a lot of support from Sega and Atlus, which began a lot with the Wii U. I'm glad that support is continuing, and I think it's going to improve over time. I don't think they utilized that as well as they could have on the Wii U, like most things, but I really think we're going to see a lot more hardcore mainline SMT games going to that. Shin Megami Tensei 5, I'm hoping, is what that thing is going to be. Even if it's just another dark spin-off, it looks great. I think pretty much everything outside of Persona is going Nintendo in that series. That's the feeling I'm getting. So that's great. We'll see what Sega does. Hopefully they'll latch on to what a lot of other companies are doing right now and revive an old IP. Skies of Arcadia 2, that would be pretty good. But yeah, really excited for everything that I saw. Even some of the more gimmicky Wii U stuff, like what was it called? The punching one. I'm gonna think of it as soon as I stop filming. But some little stuff like that looked, again, kind of gimmicky Wii U, but fun and hopefully kind of cheap little things that just kind of add to the experience. I think the system getting rolling here, I think it's going to be a lot of anticipation for upcoming stuff. I think at launch, I'm definitely not going to get the system. I normally don't buy launch systems, and most of the stuff I want for it's not coming till later. But I honestly like a lot of the features. I know there's a lot of complaints about the battery life for the system, but it's not really replacing the 3DS as a handheld. It's more of, it's a console that also has portability more than anything else, and I think it's going to work well for me. I'm just speaking on a personal level. I'm not really getting into the economics of it in this video. Just personally, I feel that to me, it's the step forward that the Wii U is a half step in that direction. I think it's the what the Wii U should have been, but probably couldn't quite have been technology-wise as far as being cost-effective at the time. But it's the full step up from the Wii, that the Wii U was just a half step. And I've been really impressed with the whole presentation. Not everyone's going to be, but for what I like in video games, from what I wanted from this console in particular, they really honed in and showed the stuff that I wanted and showed it off pretty well. Very excited about everything I saw there. I mean, Breath of the Wild looks great. Everyone knows that. That's, to me, looks fantastic. There's a lot of good stuff there, but aside from Xenoblade, the real standout was Splatoon 2, the new Mario, and seeing some great support from Sega and Atlus. I'm definitely still riding on the Switch hype train, and I think I will be for a while. I'm really excited by this system. To me, that presentation showed everything I wanted it to show, and price point wise, I was expecting more along the lines of $250 to really go, come in guns blazing and undercut the Xbox One and the PS4, especially with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox Scorpio coming out. I was expecting a little bit cheaper just to put that initial drive. They really need to sell a ton of these systems within that first year to really get back in the game quickly. And so not quite as low as I thought, but I still think $300, that $50 is going to make a little bit of a difference, I think, in the first year of sales. But I think the combination of how unique it is as compared to the other systems that are out, and the quality of stuff that they're moving forward with, the stuff that was some of the best of the Wii U that everyone kind of missed out on if you didn't grab the system, which a lot of people didn't, I think is going to draw a lot of people in. I think it's going to be a success, and for me, I'm really looking forward to it. I am still super hyped for the Switch. To be honest, I think I'm probably more excited for this at launch within that first year or so than any other Nintendo system ever. For me, Nintendo's always been kind of my secondary system in generations, or even third. The NES was my first system, and that's an exception, but Super Nintendo to me was secondary to the Genesis, which was secondary to my PC and my Mac, and then PlayStation, obviously, for me, with all the RPGs, I shifted over there because Square left Nintendo, and I followed them right to Sony and loved it, and N64 is this kind of secondary thing on the side. Same thing with the GameCube, was secondary to my PS2 and my Dreamcast, and the Wii, though, is kind of taken over from any interest in PS3 and 360. I mean, I'm finding more on the Wii, looking through its back catalog now than those other two for some reason, but Wii U, excited for, but Sony's hitting with a lot of those great exclusives. But for me, I think this might end up even surpassing PS4 as the system for me this gen that I'm most excited about. And it's one that I think I'm going to get a lot more playtime with my wife and friends and my brother and that type of thing without losing a lot of those great single player experiences. I'm really looking forward to a lot of stuff coming onto the system. A lot more to talk about, I'm sure, as this first year comes and goes, but that's really just kind of my initial thoughts on that presentation. Where I am at in my thoughts and my feelings with the Switch right now is that I'm super excited and impressed by what I saw, and it's really, on a personal level, just kind of what I want out of gaming that includes a lot of the elements that I think the systems during the 7th, the beginning of the 8th gen moved away from. It's going back to a lot of the core ideas of what I like with video games.